Hello everyone, welcome back to Sports Kabri and Curious Harry. With me is Hiren at the moment. Nava's coming in a short while, and yeah, Hiren, we've taken a day off. We've come back. We've got about a couple of days left for this game against Afghanistan at home. It's on Tuesday evening, so less than 48 hours. I know we probably didn't get the best result we wanted from the first game, and we've all sort of expressed our frustrations and things that we sort of disagree with Igor's team much about with regards to lineups, performances, and a lot more. But Hiren, the fact is, we've got a game in 2 days' time again. It's an important game. How are you looking forward to it?
Definitely, I think it's a very important game for India to get into the round three as the first game, and this is a must-win game for us. अगर हम राउंड थ्री के जो चांसेस है हमारे और भी ज्यादा मजबूत करना चाहते हैं, एंड आई थिंक टीम के लिए भी एक मोरल के हिसाब से, एक कॉन्फिडेंस के हिसाब से इट्स गोइंग टू बी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट बिकॉज अगर आप होम पे भी उनको नहीं हरा पाते अफगानिस्तान को, देन आई थिंक देयर विल बी ए सीरियस क्वेश्चन शुड बी आस्क एंड वो तो वैसे हो ही रहा है अनफॉर्चुनेटली, बट उसका कोई सामने से कोई रिस्पॉन्स नहीं आ रहा. दैट्स द अनदर सिनेरियो. सो उस एंगल से भी देखे तो आई थिंक टीम के लिए भी एक वो, और आई थिंक टीम भी चाहेगी कि डेफिनेटली अफगानिस्तान को अगर आप होम पे नहीं हरा सकते तो फिर तो क्या ही मतलब है. आपकी जो 5 साल की फुटबॉल का जो प्रोग्रेस का आपका जो एक हवा या फिर एक जो बबल बना था वो इवेंचुअली आप बोल सकते कि कंप्लीटली यहाँ पे फूट जाएगा. सो इट्स अ मस्ट विन गेम, डू और डाई मैं तो बोलूंगा इसको. इट्स नो लेस देन दैट, सिंपल एज दैट. सो वी हैव टू विन दिस मैच, कैसे भी करके ये मैच जीतना ही पड़ेगा आपको. एंड I think this is a litmus test for Team India.
Yeah, absolutely. Dinesh, yes, I am South Indian. Um, Arnav is coming. Naresh is asking when Arnav is coming. He's just joining in a bit. Hiren, you said it's do or die. Is it do or die for Steam? Of course, it's do or die for India because if we don't pick up 3 points in this game where it's looking really tough from there, but is it do or die for a certain Igor's team match?
For me, I think it's not a do or die for Igor Stimac. I think for him, it's a time run out. I think if we win this match, whatever that happens, I think he should be safe. Or I would say even if we qualify for round three after June matches, then also we need to move on from him. So for me, his chapter is over. But unfortunately for AFF, it's not yet. So वो वाली दिक्कत है अभी भी. And I think अगर राउंड थ्री में जाते हैं तो मेरे को लगता है कि 100% वो सेक नहीं करेंगे. बट लेट्स से आगे क्या होता है, यू नेवर नो. बट फॉर मी एटलीस्ट ये दिस इज नॉट अ डू और डाई. मेरे लिए तो इगो मैच की खत्म ही हो चुकी है. आई थिंक ही शुड बी सेक्ट. इट डजंट मतलब बेसिकली इट डजंट मैटर ऑन द रिजल्ट ऑफ दिस राउंड टू परफॉर्मेंस एंड द क्वालिफिकेशन ऑफ राउंड थ्री. आई थिंक वी चाहे हम क्वालिफाई करे ना करे उससे फर्क नहीं पड़ता. वी हैव टू मूव ऑन टू द अनदर कोच.
Hiren, I think Mallikarjun is also sort of agreeing with you. He's saying, doesn't matter if you win, you got to let go of ego. I think that's true. I think based on what we've seen in the past, I mean, in the recent past at least, Asian Cup, those games before the Asian Cup in the World Cup qualifiers, this game against Afghanistan, there's nothing that excites you as an Indian football fan. Nothing.
राहुल, एक चीज है कि अगर आप पूरे साल में एक आध दो मैचेस में अगर आप परफॉर्मेंस निकालोगे और उस बेसिस पे आप कोच को कंटिन्यूअसली खींचते ही जाओगे तो उसका कोई मतलब नहीं बनता ना. आपने लास्ट साफ जीता, उसके बाद डायरेक्ट आपने कुवैत वाला अवे एक मैच जीता, बीच में आपने सारे मैचेस आपने हारे, फिर आपने सेम आपका अभी सिनेरियो स्टार्ट हुआ है. अभी आप ये एक अफगानिस्तान मैच निकाल दोगे और फिर आप बोलने लगोगे कि भाई हमें हमें इसको साथ कंटिन्यू करना चाहिए. तो आई डोंट थिंक सो कि ऐसा होना चाहिए भाई, टू बी ऑनेस्ट. आई थिंक वी नीड टू बी अ मोर कंसिस्टेंट. एंड हमको भाई सिर्फ इसी लोअर रैंक टीमों से ही थोड़ी ना जीतना है. वी नीड टू परफॉर्म ए वेरी गुड पुट अप ए वेरी गुड फाइट अगेंस्ट द हायर रैंक टीम आल्सो. एंड ईगोस्ट मैच के अंदर पिछले 5 सालों में वी डिडंट बीट अ सिंगल हायर रैंक टीम. एक भी हायर रैंक टीम को हमने हरा नहीं पाया है. सो दैट्स आल्सो रियलिटी. और ये सिर्फ ऐसा नहीं है कि सिर्फ ये इसी मतलब एशियन कप का और इसका ही नतीजा है. पूरे 5 साल की आप उसकी परफॉर्मेंस रिपोर्ट निकालिए एंड उसके बाद आप उसको यहाँ पे क्या बोलते हैं कि आप नेक्स्ट कोच की ओर मूव ऑन कीजिए. सिंपल सी बात वो है. और 5 ईयर इज अ लॉन्ग टाइम राहुल, एज यू नो कि 5 ईयर में अगर आपको कंसिस्टेंसी नहीं ढूंढ पाए हो कि लगातार आप अच्छा करो तो फिर तो कंटिन्यू करने का कोई मतलब भी नहीं बनता, सेंस नहीं बनता. तो वो भी एक रीजन है. सिर्फ ऐसा नहीं है कि भाई यहाँ पे राउंड थ्री में गए नहीं गए इसलिए सेट कर देना है. इन्हें आप मेरे को बता दीजिए राहुल Do you know exactly what is the Ego's image and India's playing style at the moment? आपको
No,
exactly पता है कि भाई this is our
absolutely.
identity.
Yeah, there is no identity. I thought if so much talk is there about possession based football dominating the sort of game, we'd see it against Afghanistan. I thought 100% we'll see it against Afghanistan if whatever the
अफगानिस्तान
coach is saying is true, but didn't happen.
अफगानिस्तान के सामने जो मैच खेला हमने, आई थिंक उसमें पोजीशन अफगानिस्तान की ज्यादा थी, 54% थी मेरे हिसाब से।
Exactly. And we didn't do anything. It was terrible. And motivation is asking for Des Buckingham to be the new coach, but he's with Oxford and that's his boyhood club. It's unlikely that he would leave that probably for India's national team. But yeah, um, Hiren, even if we do move on from him, any options that you're looking at?
आई थिंक मेरे लिए आई थिंक दो तीन मतलब जो भी कोच को सिलेक्ट करेंगे नेक्स्ट अगर करते हैं तो जो कि अनलाइकली सिनेरियो लग रहा है एट द मोमेंट, पर अगर होता है तो आई थिंक दो तीन चीजें उन्हें देखनी चाहिए। एक तो कि आपका 3-4 साल का नेक्स्ट प्लान क्या है। आई थिंक सबसे पहले वो क्लियर कट होना चाहिए कि हम नेशनल टीम को यहाँ पे देखना चाहते हैं नेक्स्ट 3 ईयर में। फिर आपको ऐसा कोच सिलेक्ट करना चाहिए कि जो इससे पहले इस तरह की कंडीशन में काम कर चुका हो, क्योंकि इगो स्टिमिच ने इससे पहले ऐसे कंट्रीज के साथ काम नहीं किया था। उसने हमेशा से ही हायर क्वालिटी के प्लेयरों के साथ काम किया हुआ था। तो हमें ऐसा कोच ढूंढना चाहिए कि जिन्होंने लिमिटेड रिसोर्सेज के साथ लिमिटेड क्या बोलते हैं कि क्वालिटी वाले प्लेयर जो कि इंडियन प्लेयरों की क्वालिटी है उस क्वालिटी के प्लेयरों के साथ काम किया हो एंड उसमें रिजल्ट प्रोड्यूस करके दिया हो। ऐसा कोच अगर आप लाएंगे देन आई थिंक इट विल बी अ मोर सक्सेसफुल कोच। एंड एक और क्राइटेरिया होना चाहिए कि ऐसा कोच हमें चाहिए कि जो इस प्लेयरों के साथ यहाँ पे नेशनल टीम पे भी काम कर पाए, क्योंकि आप देखिए कि इंडिया की ऐसी एट द मोमेंट सिचुएशन नहीं है कि हमारे यहाँ पे जो नेशनल टीम में अभी भी जो एट द मोमेंट जो खेल रहे हैं एंड नेक्स्ट जो आने वाले प्लेयर है वो यहाँ पे फिनिश प्लेयर आ रहे हैं कि भाई एकदम से वो कंप्लीट प्लेयर है, दे आर यू कैन से कि गुड इन एवरीथिंग। हमारे पास अभी भी अनफिनिश्ड प्लेयर ही है। तो आपके नेशनल टीम के कोच को भी उसके साथ काम करना पड़ेगा और उसको यहाँ पे जो बेसिक्स फुटबॉल के है सारी चीजें है वो लगातार उसको सिखानी पड़ेगी, जैसे आईएसएल में कोचेस अभी कर रहे हैं, कुछ कोचेस हमने देखा है। तो उस तरह का कोच अगर आएगा देन आई थिंक आपको बेटर रिजल्ट एंड बेटर कंसिस्टेंसी इंडियन टीम की ओर से दिखेगी। एक प्लेइंग स्टाइल, एक जो आइडेंटिटी की हम बात कर रहे थे अभी, वो भी आपको यहाँ पे नेशनल टीम की ओर से देखने को मिलेगी। तो ये क्राइटेरिया जो है सारे, एक आपको बजट भी होगा ऑब्वियसली, उसमें भी जो फिट होता हो, ये सारी चीजें जो टिक मार्क करता हो ऐसे कोच को यहाँ पे लाना चाहिए तो आपको आई थिंक बेटर रिजल्ट मिल पाएंगे।
Yep, yep. I think it is frustrating for a lot of Indian fans to be watching what they are right now. But Hiren, do you think we'll see something different from the Indian team when they play when we host Afghanistan on Tuesday?
डेफिनेटली देखिए होम पे हम खेल रहे हैं तो ऑब्वियसली वो थोड़ा सा टीम का जो परफॉर्मेंस है वो मैं देख रहा हूँ कि कंपेयर टू मतलब अफगानिस्तान का जो पहला मैच था उससे तो 100% आई थिंक बेटर होना ही चाहिए। एंड क्राउड का सपोर्ट रहेगा एंड सारी चीजें है। सो आई थिंक डेफिनेटली आई एम सीइंग इम्प्रूवमेंट इन दी परफॉर्मेंस अगेंस्ट अफगानिस्तान इन दी सेकंड मैच।
Deepak Das, I think it's not that we only want to criticize them. We, of course, in terms of solutions, I think Hiren, the first solution I think everybody has been when the coach is not right, your first solution is to change
सेक
that.
हिम, वही सेक
That's a
करना है तो
solution.
सॉल्यूशन है दीपक दास।
That is
इफ
the
यू डोंट
solution.
एग्री देन दैट्स योर प्रॉब्लम भाई।
Yeah, that is a solution, right? I mean, at the end of the day, you go to any football club, any footballing country. When you talk about solutions, the first thing would be to remove your coach, replace your coach, bring in somebody else. We've got, of course, a lot of other problems.
नहीं नहीं राहुल, एक चीज पे कल भी बोला था और बार बार हमने सॉल्यूशन भी हर वक्त बात की है भाई, और सॉल्यूशन की भी बात की है, सारी चीजें की है। पहले जब आप कोच चेंज करोगे, कोई नया कोच आएगा तो ये इसमें से प्लेयर वो चेंज करेगा, ये सेम प्लेयर के साथ वो नहीं खेलेगा। वो अपनी प्लेइंग स्टाइल लाएगा, अपने हिसाब से प्लेयरों को सिलेक्ट करेगा, तो ऑटोमेटिक आपकी फिर टीम चेंज होगी, जिसके बारे में हम बात कर रहे हैं कि भाई प्लेयरों पे चेंज होने चाहिए सारे। ये प्लेयर अभी यहाँ पे नेशनल टीम में कुछ प्लेयर यहाँ पे नहीं होने चाहिए, वो भी ऑटोमेटिक चेंज हो जाएगा। तो ये इट्स यू कैन से कि रिपल इफेक्ट, और यू कैन से कि उस तरह की चीजें है। तो स्टार्ट आपका कोच के सेट करने से होगा भाई।
Exactly. And when there's a coach change, I think that naturally brings new life into the
हम्म
players as well.
हम्म
There's a sort of new manager bounce that we talk about, which is once
हम्म
a new coach comes in, new manager comes in, there's new life in the players, and somehow some players who aren't sort of doing well suddenly come and they start stepping up, they start doing well. Uh, Hiren, but of course, this is not going to happen before this game. What would you like to see from Igor Stimaches team okay on Tuesday?
आई थिंक वी नीड टू बी गो लिटिल बिट मोर अटैकिंग इन फर्स्ट हाफ 100%। I think दूसरा I want to see a proper attacking midfielder rather than a makeshift. That's for sure, and that means Brandon or Imran have to start in this match. Simple as that. And तीसरी चीज I want to see Emi on right side. I think एक ये मैं चेंज देखना चाहूंगा. Other than that, I think front line में maybe I think Sunil Chhetri because of his 150th match, so he will definitely play. So maybe Manveer, Vikram और Changte, either थ्री में से कोई दो प्लेयर मेरे को लगता है कि ड्रॉप हो सकते हैं मे बी. यू नेवर नो. या फिर अगर आप अटैकिंग मिडफील्डर फिर से सुनील छेत्री को खिलाते हो देन मे बी आपको एक ही चेंज देखने को मिल सकता है. आई थिंक नोरा महेश शुड बी स्टार्टिंग इन दिस मैच. सो ये दो तीन चेंजेस है जो मैं देखना चाहूंगा. जिक्सन की जगह पे मैं आई वांट टू सी सुरेश. सो दैट्स आल्सो वन ऑफ द चेंज आई वांट टू सी. एंड थोड़ा सा एग्रेसिव आपको जाना पड़ेगा इस मैच में. आई थिंक वी नीड टू बी गो मोर एग्रेसिव पर्टिकुलरली फर्स्ट हाफ में टू स्कोर दैट गोल.
Yeah, Rahul, I think we've said it a few times. We want a new coach. I think it's a no-brainer right now. But Hiren, just wanted to ask you as well. You said you want to see a natural number 10, Brandon, potentially Imran, in that role. Um, and you also said Nikhil Pujari. You want to see Amer Anawade on the right side. You think Nikhil Pujari was bad in this game, the previous one?
आई थिंक डेफिनेटली कुछ मोमेंट्स उन्होंने अच्छा खेला. मैं ये नहीं बोल रहा. दो तीन क्रॉसेस भी उन्होंने अच्छे डाले. एंड जो कि चेंज होने भी नहीं वाला. डेफिनेटली आई थिंक निखिल ही स्टार्ट करेंगे. आई डोंट सी एमी स्टार्टिंग दिस मैच. बट आई थिंक जिस फॉर्म में जिस कॉन्फिडेंस में एमी है आई थिंक उसको आप दिस इज अ गुड ओकेजन टू स्टार्ट इन दी होम गेम अगेंस्ट अफगानिस्तान. सो इन दैट सेंस आई एम सेइंग कि he might get should be getting a chance, but I think most probably Nikhil and Akash is going to start.
Yeah, it looks like that. I agree with you in the sense that, yeah. Deepak is asking, do you want a double pivot in the next game? We can't be playing a double pivot against Afghanistan and saying
Afghanistan.
we are a possession based football, like on the ground dominating sort of side. There's no way we can.
Rahul, first of all, we should stop saying that we play possession based. I don't know who come up with these terms that we are playing under Igor Stevin's possession based football. So वो तो सबसे पहला तो वही खत्म हो जाना चाहिए. वी प्ले अकॉर्डिंग टू दी ओपोनेंट्स अंडर इगो स्टीमेज. वो हमको देखने को उसके अकॉर्डिंग भी नहीं खेलते वैसे तो. बट उतना हम बोल सकते हैं कि हमने देखा एशियन कप में टोटली 3 मैचों में तीनों डिफरेंट प्लेइंग स्टाइल. एंड इस मैच में अफगानिस्तान के सामने तो वैसे कोई था ही नहीं प्लेइंग स्टाइल. तो दैट्स द डिफरेंट केस. बट भाई वही वाली चीज है. डबल पिवट भाई क्यों आप अफगानिस्तान के सामने अभी आपको अगर डबल पिवट लग रहे हैं तो फिर तो क्या ही करे भाई.
Yeah, absolutely. Shaggy saying we need a strategy. Ashley made us look average with quick transitions at least. I agree. I think on quick transitions they were sort of much better. They got the turnovers and they started playing quite quickly. And the way they released white players as well was much better than what we did. So yeah, Iran, no chance for a double pivot. But you're saying you'd like to see Suresh in place of Jackson. Any reasons?
आई थिंक जिक्सन का हमने देखा है कि अभी एट द मोमेंट वो 100% फॉर्म में नहीं है. दैट्स क्लियरली विजिबल ऑन द अफगानिस्तान गेम आल्सो. एंड हमने आईएसएल पे भी केला ब्लास्टर के लिए जब से वो इंजरी के बाद वापस आए हैं उस रिदम में अभी तक नहीं देख पाए. जबकि सुरेश थोड़ा सा बेटर खेल रहे हैं यहाँ पे बेंगलुरु के लिए भी. थोड़ा सा अटैकिंग रोल भी वो प्ले कर रहे हैं. हमने देखा है एक आध गोल भी मारा था रिसेंटली. एंड जिस तरह से थोड़ा सा और आगे वो बेहतर कर रहा है. सो आई थिंक ही शुड बी यूटिलाइज. So in that sense, I think I want to see. And Jackson, sorry, अपुया एंड सुरेश ने एशियन कप में मतलब थोड़ा सा अच्छा उन्होंने एक साइन दिखाया था. ऐसा नहीं था कि बिल्कुल they looks worst. So in that sense, I want to see them as a starting 11 player.
I agree. I would love to see Suresh start because particularly Hiren, I think because Suresh's club form has not been bad, except for that red card. I said it again. He's not been bad. He's been pretty good. Like so, it surprises me that he's gone with Jackson ahead of Suresh, especially because Jackson has been coming back from a pretty long injury. So yeah, like saying with Brandon, we need to return the favor. We need skill in the middle of the park. Start Suresh and now he'll chase the whole Afghanistan. It's exactly, you need life, you need energy, you need legs, which Suresh will give you. And I've said this
क्रिएटिविटी
again.
आपको मिडफील्ड में भी क्रिएटिविटी चाहिए. एंड ब्रैंडन एंड सुरेश एंड अपुया विल गिव यू दैट स्टेबिलिटी आल्सो इन मिडफील्ड एंड मोर क्रिएटिविटी. सो आई थिंक वी नीड टू गो विद दैट बिकॉज यू इवेंचुअली नीड टू क्रिएट अ चांस. सिंपल एज दैट. चांस आपको अब जो फर्स्ट मैच में हमने क्या देखा कि वी डिडंट क्रिएट इनफ चांसेस.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
that's
and
that's
Hiren, Deepak and confirming that he doesn't want to see a double pivot, but he thinks Igor will play a double pivot. Yeah,
Let's see, well, let's see.
let's see. I mean, it's going to be interesting. Well, a lot of the discussion has been about Sunil Chetri in these past few days. A lot of people have spoken about him. Hiren, Sunil Chetri, where do you stand today?
I think it's 150th match, and before this, he scored in 25th, 50th, 75th, 100, 125th. So let's hope so. We need that goal anyhow, and I think, big occasion for him also. So let's hope so. Ki both the wishes will be fulfilled by scoring a goal.
Well, Arnav is here with us. Hi, Arnav. Good evening to you. And yeah, two days left, Arnav, for this, for yet another big game that we see the Indian national team playing. How are you feeling going into this time?
Well, good evening to you guys. Good evening, everyone who's watching. I don't know really what to expect. That's my concern by now. I really don't know. I read a post by someone who's been following Indian football. I don't know if you saw. There's a tweet from someone who says, "I've been following Indian football from 1998, but they've taken it to such a level that I don't want to follow it anymore." And I can relate to that because 1998 I started IndianFootball.com. We had a lot of hope, and to me the concern is, as long as there is not something of a change for the positive, you know, even a positive result will not change that. That's my concern. So for me, that change can only happen when you change the coach. I discussed it on my own in my Q&A live yesterday. As much as I like it or not, C-Much has to go. And that's the only way to do it. And even if he qualifies for round 3, it doesn't matter. And I said it after the Asian Cup. I mean, to me, it doesn't matter when. We just have to get someone new, fresh ideas, new approach. Maybe you can get something out of this, because the players are also not as bad as they're playing at the moment. That's my big concern. These players are performing under their own standards, and that's it's difficult to say how we can make the change, but there needs to be a change, and and of course now. We discussed the other day that maybe Sunil should be benched now with this 150th match coming up. Sunil will not be benched, so we know that as well. So it's, I don't know. It's very difficult. It's very difficult. That's that.
I remember Hiren and I were also discussing changes, and because we've got a game coming up, and there are some things that I'm sure a lot of people want to see done slightly differently. For you, any changes that you want to see in this team?
Well, I want to see a little bit more of an attacking intent. The question is if the coach might be thinking of maybe a 4-1-4-1 sort of system, where you have sort of two eights playing. That might be something to think about. And also play the players in the right positions. To me, I know where Deepak is coming from, what Renedy said. I don't agree with Renedy on that, to be very honest. And again, that's his opinion. I have a different opinion and I think the players that he started was right, but he played with the players in the wrong positions. I don't start with Vikram as the number 9. I put Vikram on a wing. I put Manveer up front. The things that work. And to me is all this, maybe that works. And to me, Brandon and Mahesh, again, question is, what did they show that they deserve a start? That you guys are calling for these players, do they deserve a start? If you want Manveer to retire, then every one of them retires. I mean, some of this logic that you guys have it's not logical. Again, I have to try and figure out what I can do. And Manveer Singh has been one of the better performers of the last few weeks in the ISL. Manveer Singh is the only one who's got us a goal in this qualifiers, despite playing badly. So to me that and that's the thing. I tell me the last time Brandon played a good game. When was the last time Mahesh played a good game? That was also quite a while back, right? So therefore, difficult. You have to think about. I mean, Jackson for me doesn't start, so you have to think about who could be Jackson's replacement. So for that, I guess if you want a little bit more of someone to take care of that defensive position, maybe Suresh comes in at the moment because Deepak Tangri is a little too defensive. But if I played maybe Deepak Tangri, I can give Apuya a little bit more freedom. We have to be smart. So
Yeah, scary part I think Arnava is with the goals. We just don't know where it's coming from. Hiren, I think we're goalless in our last 5 games, cross competitions.
Yes,
So
yes.
going into this now very worrying stat. Where is the goal? I mean, where are the goals coming from, or where is the goal coming from? Even if there's one.
my bigger concern is we're not creating chances.
Yeah, yeah.
I think
Exactly.
you score goals when you create chances, and our problem has been that against weaker sides we are unable to break weaker sides down. This is not a new phenomenon. This has been a problem since the day Steamer just can't,
Game.
So so therefore,
Yeah, at the moment, guys, to me, it looks like the best form of sort of attack that we've got, and where the chances could potentially come from is that right hand side down through Nikhil Pujari. This is not the first time like it felt like okay, a couple of half chances came from that side, but even during the Asian Cup, I think whatever little we created came from that side. And isn't that worrying because your fullback is your sort of chief creator, Hiren?
I think worrying से ज्यादा I think what is the combination you having, because इससे पहले भी पास्ट में हमने देखा है कि मनवीर एंड निखिल पुजारी का कॉम्बिनेशन उतना इम्पैक्टफुल नहीं रहा है जितना चांगते एंड पुजारी का रहा है नेशनल टीम के लिए. अगर आप साफ एंड इंटरकॉन्टिनेंटल के टाइम पे देखेंगे, जब जब भी आप चांगते एंड निखिल उस साइड पे खेले ज्यादा इम्पैक्टफुल, जैसे सर ने बोले इट्स मोर अबाउट द पोजीशन के भाई विक्रम प्रताप को आपने रादर देन प्लेइंग इन नंबर 9 प्ले हिम ऑन द लेफ्ट, play Changte on the right, play Manveer on the striker position. These changes rather than you can say कि should be made. उससे क्या बोलते कि तो impact आप गेम में ज्यादा डाल पाए. So I think अगर उस तरह से आपका होता है, डेफिनेटली अभी आई थिंक जो हमारा प्लेइंग स्टाइल भी है वो ज्यादा विंग से ही रहता है, तो आई थिंक डेफिनेटली फुल बैक्स आपके उस रोल में आएंगे कि टू क्रिएट चांसेस, क्योंकि बीच में हमारे पास वो क्रिएटिविटी नहीं है. एंड सर ने बिल्कुल सही बोला कि वी नीड दैट मोर चांसेस क्रिएशन, एंड उसके लिए आपको मिडफील्ड में और ज्यादा डायनेमिज्म ऐड करना पड़ेगा. यू नीड टू गिव गो विद द वन डीएम एंड टू midfielder who can, you can say, add that creativity, can create those chances. But I think if Sunil Chhetri plays again number 10, I don't see happening that, to be honest. I think he will definitely play his 150th match, but if he is playing, I want to see him as a number 9 rather than a attacking midfielder, to be honest, because in that case I think we did much more poorly than you can say done otherwise. So I think वो एक चेंज मैं यहाँ पे देखना चाहूंगा. बट आई थिंक लेट्स सी एगोस्ट मैच क्या, जो अफगानिस्तान के सामने पहले मैच में जो स्टार्टिंग 11 थी जिसमें उन्होंने 4 आपके बेसिकली फॉरवर्ड प्लेयर को खिलाया था, उसके साथ स्टिक रहते हैं या फिर कोई एक मिडफील्डर ऐड करते हैं.
Yep. Anurag saying Mahesh is more composed in a national team shirt compared to other wingers. I know to bring Mahesh in, you would probably think one of Changte and Vikram would have to sit out. Would you like to see that?
that's that's one thing, but I feel that Mahesh has not really shown that in the last few matches also. We have to be honest to that. It's my question is, it's not a question of I change a player and suddenly the whole thing changes. They're all of a similar level. But what Changte and Vikram would give me in comparison to Mahesh is a certain level of physicality. Mahesh is someone that that you've seen, especially in the Asian Cup when he was on, that he technically very good player, but physically he cannot cope. And the Afghans are strong. So for me is I have to find solutions which work. For me is if I have to keep Sunil on the field, which again, I have to find solutions around it. And that's the question to me is that we're talking about names, but to me is none of these names are convincing me that they are the change that we want to bring. So to me, it's not the question of personnel. It's what is the system? What are we playing? That is the bigger problem. That is the bigger problem to me, because these players are showing in their clubs that they can play football. In the national team, to me, they look like some of them have forgotten how to play. And I think the best example the other night was Akash Mishra. So that is the problem. It's none of these guys who came on in the second half that it would make a difference. And again, Beneath mentions Ashik. I think Ashik wouldn't make a difference as well, because everyone is coming down to this level. All of them are playing,
Yeah. But Hiren, you get the chance to sort of change things. I think after this game, you've got a few months. You think this is the right time to let Igor Stimac go, bring in a new coach who has fresh ideas, a fresh system probably in mind, because you have a few months to work with the boys.
100%, 100%. आई थिंक दिस इज द एक एक चीज हमने पहले भी बोली थी, मैंने कि देयर वाज अ नेवर अ राइट टाइम टू सेक अ कोच, सो यू जस्ट हैव टू डू इट, सिंपल एज दैट. व्हेन यू believe that कि this is the time to go, let him go. I think then you should do it rather than thinking about कि भाई क्या होगा. आई थिंक एशियन कप के बाद हम बोल रहे थे कि भाई अब राउंड 3 में हम नहीं जा पाएंगे अगर अभिषेक कर देंगे. तो अभी देखो ईगो स्टिमिच ने ड्रॉ कर दिया, अब क्या करोगे? हाइंडसाइट हम ये भी तो बोल सकते हैं ना कि भाई अगर नया कोच होता तो शायद जीत जाते. तो यू हैव टू टेक दैट रिस्क एंड दैट, इसीलिए तो आपको वहां पे बिठाया गया है. टेक्निकल कमेटी को किस लिए रखा गया है? नहीं तो मैं और आप जैसे लोग नहीं बैठ जाते वहां पे. उनका वही तो काम है कि दे हैव दैट एक्सपीरियंस, तो उनको वो लाके वो देना है. अगर आप वो रिजल्ट नहीं ला पाते हो देन यू शुड बी क्या बोलते कि रिजाइन एंड गो होम, सिंपल एज दैट.
I mean, again, back to Sunil Chetri, Deepak's mentioning an important point. Now, if you're playing Sunil Chetri, if you're trying to make space for him in the team, assuming he plays as striker, would you have Brandon behind him?
See, that's the whole discussion about who is that player who's going to play behind Sunil. Because again, none of these players are in that position where I would say, they are convincing me in the way they're playing for their clubs. That's my only thing. If I'm looking at the players that have played well in the 2 weeks leading up to the qualifiers, and if I see the performance level, then if I play Manveer, Vikram, and Changte with Sunil, then those are the three best. Again, Liston is in and out. Liston is mainly a sub at Mohun Bagan, and Brandon has been more injured than has been fit. The same can be said.
लिस्टन का सर, सॉरी सर, बट लिस्टन का नहीं डिजर्व करता है स्टार्टिंग 11 में. आप आई थिंक उसका भी इतना ही इनकंसिस्टेंट रहा है वो नेशनल टीम के लिए. एंड वन ऑफ हिज इश्यू इज आल्सो फिजिकलिटी.
And that is something that a lot of people are forgetting, that Bob Houghton used to always tell me. He said, you know what, someone can be the best player in the ISL, can be player this, that, and everything, but he doesn't bring a certain level of physicality with him, he will not be able to play international football. And there are some players of that generation who were amongst the best players in the I-League. They got never picked because Bob Houghton didn't think they were physical, and Stephen did the same thing. So that is, so for me, that is something where we need to find solutions, because our biggest problem is with all the wingers, especially if I also look at the under-23s, most of the wingers are physically weak. They are not good enough for international football to be able to push around players and all that stuff. And I say always, Changte is a very good example of what Changte has done over the last 5-6 years. So, and that's something, and creating chances. Where were these guys creating chances last match? I love this point that, we did this, we did that in the last match. Now you're trying to find things which were good. We were bad throughout, but I would think that if he's fit, to me, Sahal is most probably our best option, right? Because he combines that. He's got that out-of-the-box thought. He has a certain level of physicality. So that for me is very, very important. And that's something, we need to find solutions. And that physical aspect needs to be thought about. Even if someone that to me is very, very important. And if you physically don't man up, you will not be able to play at international level. And that you saw, especially again at the Asian Cup, we were being pushed around. Forget that we were physically bad as footballers, but we were also physically being pushed around.
Lost saying we need Gurkira type physique in our players. I would love to see India produce one of those strikers, hopefully somewhere down the line. Those big strikers, you can really use them as a target man. If you want to play long, you have that option. You want to put the cross into the box, you've got these kind of guys attacking the ball for you in the box. Can score with their head good in the air. Um,
But even
Hiren,
Gurkirat is not that big, right? So that's another point. And
yeah,
he's bulky, but he's not that big, So then I would
Big.
rather, we used to have Abhishek Yadav in the past. Maybe Ayush Chikara could be that
Ayush Chikara.
striker, if he gets the time. But otherwise, even a Sunil is not the biggest. But Sunil's jumping, capabilities
Yeah.
have always been brilliant, right? So
It's incredible. Always amazed me actually how Sunil Shetty is so good in the air despite his height. But hopefully we can see some of that on Tuesday. Hiren, behind Sunil, who would you like to see?
पहले भी जैसे मैंने बोला, आई वांट टू सी अ प्रॉपर अटैकिंग मिडफील्डर, सो आइदर ब्रांडन और मे बी इमरान का चांस कम. आई थिंक फर्स्ट मैच में भी वो बेंच पे भी नहीं थे, तो आई डोंट सी इगो स्टीवन स्टार्टिंग हिम. सो फॉर मी आई थिंक इट शुड बी ब्रांडन.
Yeah. And Spirit also saying Brandon starts. Vikram can make a proper run behind the defense. Again, this is assuming that Vikram would start on one wing. If this is a system we're going with, I know who are your two wingers, because that's a tricky question to answer, I think.
again, we have a lot of wingers of a similar quality, and the question is who's going to stand out on that day. That's the challenge, And to me, from international experience, from his physicality, the likelihood that he is most probably able to create either chances or score a goal, Chante would be, for me, a natural starter. And then we can discuss the rest of the guys who are there on the other side. I think Steemach didn't do Vikram a favor by playing him in the position he played him in, I guess I don't know what he's going to do with Sunil. If Sunil gonna slot him behind or going to put him up front. But if he puts him up front, then the question is, who do I put on the wing?
It's going to be a tricky one. But Arnav, after that performance, do you see Vikram starting one more for India?
I can't look into the coach's head, right? That's the problem. They are, again, I would like to see Vikram get another start. Yes. I think
yeah.
Because if we can get the best out of Vikram, there is the issue of physicality and mentality. I think the biggest thing you've seen him develop, or not develop, he always had it. I mean, if I see him as an under-16 captain at the time, or as a 15-year-old, that was always there. So for me, that's something that I would think that if he's give him a chance, give him, put him on the wing. Doesn't matter if left or right, but put him on a wing, put on the other side Changte, and those guys know how to interswitch. So that potentially also works.
Kingloss saying Mahesh, Changte as wingers and Vikram as striker. Kingloss, we're going with the presumption that Sunil Chhetri will start this game up top, given the importance and the landmark occasion.
Assumption नहीं भाई, 100% start करेंगे.
Exactly.
जब तक टीम मैच है, Chhetri will be the striker. No discussion there. Either striker or number 10, जैसे उसने खिलाया.
Hiren, your two wingers?
For me, I think definitely I want to give a chance to Vikram, one more, and Changte. So I also go with Vikram and Changte. I think that should be. But then you have to drop, I think, Manvir, maybe. अगर आप एक attacking midfielder लाते हो तो, if you go with the another forward, maybe Sunil Chhetri or maybe Norem Mas or Liston, then I think Manvir also can start in that sense. So for me, I think Vikram on left, Changte on right.
Yeah. Fair enough. Deepak, for me, I think it's if Sahal's fit, Sahal is the natural number 10. I think he's India's best number 10. Even like Anurag mentioned earlier, I think I'm not his biggest fan, but I think he is India's best number 10. We don't have a proper number 10 who ticks all those boxes, sort of gives you the legs. He gives you more legs than Brandon. He can be creative. He's got that sort of the little bit of that dirty side in him, which sometimes you need as footballer, which is to go in for a tackle, and he's not too afraid to put his leg in there. So yeah, I would say Sahal. Another is interesting question, because I know you've been someone who said in the past that we should not take coaches from ISL clubs to the national team. Um, Again, I won't go into the reasons as such, but if you could, is there anybody you would consider for the role?
Well, a season ago, I would have said Manolo, but after this season, I'm not convinced about Manolo anymore, to be very honest. It's raised more questions than anything, and he's made a few statements which make me question if he would be a right fit for the national team job. No, I don't. I currently don't see anyone in that ISL scenario who I would like to see coming in as a national coach. I think we need someone who has sort of no links into the system, and I would think for someone who would look at everything, and then we would be a fresh start, and to me, someone with an understanding, that can find solutions and work on the players. Even in 5 to 7 days, everyone has to be someone that can work on the players, and that even in those short windows. I mean, and that's a reality, right? Because most of the ISL coaches this season have moaned about, there's that everything, and with the national team, it will be even more difficult because you don't have the foreigners.
Yep, absolutely. Hiren, any choices for you? I mean, any picks that you would like to see?
डेफिनेटली, मतलब आई थिंक सर ने बिल्कुल सही बोला कि आईएसएल में आपके पास वो लग्जरी है कि आपके पास वो फॉरेनर। एंड एक चीज मैं एक आई थिंक बोलना चाहूंगा कि सडनली आपको जब यही प्लेयर आईएसएल में अच्छा करते हुए दिखते हैं, नेशनल टीम में सडनली क्या हो जाता है, क्योंकि यहाँ पे आपको वो होल्ड अप करने वाला कोई प्लेयर नहीं है। वहां पे आपके ये जो प्लेयर है वो उस एक फॉरेनर के अराउंड यहाँ पे क्या बोलते हैं कि खेलते हैं, सो दे यू कैन से कि बेटर अंडरस्टैंडिंग, बेटर डिसीजन मेकिंग। यहाँ पे आपके पास उस लेवल का कोई प्लेयर नहीं है कि जिसके अराउंड आप टीम को उस हिसाब से खिला पाओ। एंड दैट्स ऑल्सो वन ऑफ द रीजन की आई थिंक जो हमारे प्लेयरों का परफॉर्मेंस आईएसएल में मे भी आपको उतना बढ़िया दिखता है, बट नेशनल टीम पे ज्यादा कंफ्यूज है या फिर उस लेवल का दिखता है, तो वो एक भी रीजन है।
Very important to, like Anurag mentions, that we need a coach who understands India itself as a country and Indian football as well. Yep.
No, I don't see. I don't. Again, maybe no. I don't have a problem even with the coach who doesn't have an understanding of India and Indian football at the start. But he has clear-cut plans. But he goes around and understands in 3 to 6 months. What is the standard, what is available. A coach who I don't want a preset mindset to come in. That he knows and he thinks he knows what needs to be done.
आज ही मैंने देखा पीटर क्रेग की आरएफडीएल का मैच अटेंड करने गए थे। सो यू नीड अ कोच हु इज इन्वॉल्व इन अ यू कैन से कि रोल के वो मतलब वांट टू फाइंड द टैलेंट, बिकॉज इंडिया, मैंने पहले भी आपको राहुल जैसे बताया कि इंडिया एट दी ऐसी कोई टीम फुटबॉल में भी उस मुकाम पे नहीं है कि आपके वहां पे नेशनल टीम में फिनिश प्लेयर आने वाला है, फिनिश प्रोडक्ट वाले प्लेयर की जो एकदम कंप्लीट प्लेयर है। वहां पे भी आके उनको कुछ चीजें आपको सिखानी पड़ेगी। तो ऐसा कोच चाहिए कि जो इस तरह से क्या बोलते हैं उस रोल को भी प्ले कर पाए रादर देन है, क्योंकि काफी आप देखिए कि हम काफी सारे कंट्रीज का एग्जांपल देते हैं, बट वहां पे उनको ज्यादा कोच से ज्यादा मैन मैनेजर की जरूरत है रादर देन अ कोच। उनको मैनेजर की जरूरत है कि जो पर्सनालिटीज को हैंडल कर पाए एंड उस हिसाब से कर पाए। बट इंडिया के जो जरूरत है वो ऐसा कोच चाहिए कि जो टीम के साथ काम भी कर पाए। यहाँ पे प्लेयरों के साथ वो प्लेयरों को बेटर अंडरस्टैंडिंग, कुछ बेसिक चीजें जो आई थिंक उसके क्या बोलते हैं कि यूथ करियर में शायद वो उस हिसाब से सीख नहीं पाया है, तो उस क्वालिटीज को डेवलप करने की भी जरूरत है यहाँ पे आपको। एंड ईगो स्टिमिच ने आई डोंट थिंक सो कि प्रायर टू इंडिया ऐसी कोई कंट्री में काम किया हो कि जहाँ पे उसको ऐसे मीडियोकर प्लेयरों के साथ मे बी क्वालिटी वाइज अगर आप देखें कंपेयर टू वर्ल्ड लेवल काम किया हो। सो ऐसा कोच चाहिए कि जो इस तरह की कंडीशन में काम कर चुका है कि भाई विद
But
द
Hiren,
लिमिटेड एबिलिटी।
but Hiren, my problem is I go back to the example of that whoever we've played last year, and we've also played teams in the 150s, 160s, 170s, 180s, right? Our technical abilities are a problem compared even to those teams. So it's very difficult to find a coach who have dealt with these kind of basic problems, you know. And that is, and the point here is that the coach has to be I feel a taskmaster. Being pally with the players, giving them freedoms. I think we've seen that now, be it under Steven, be it at club football in Habas and Khalid Jamil. You need a little bit of toughness with these boys. You give them freedom, it doesn't work.
अभी मैं इससे पहले एक पॉडकास्ट में कर रहा था तो वहाँ पे जो हमारे पाकिस्तान के एक यूट्यूबर है उन्होंने सहन भाई उनके साथ तो स्टीफन कॉन्स्टेंटाइन है वहाँ पे उनके दो प्लेयर है डायस्पोरा प्लेयर है अब्दुल नबी ऐसा उसको ड्यू टू दी हिज बिहेवियर उन्होंने उसको ड्रॉप कर दिया। आदिल नबी
Delhi Dynamos, huh? And the funny one is Adil Nabi has been trying to get a Pakistani passport for 10 years.
10 years. उसने स्टीफन ने मना कर दिया कि आई डोंट वांट हिम वो। एंड आई थिंक वो चाहिए आपको डिसिप्लिन। आई थिंक दैट्स व्हाई आप अब देखिए कि मेरे को लगता है कि वो एक है कि आपको एक टास्क मास्टर बिल्कुल सही बोला सर ने कि देखिए सेम मोहन बगान प्लेयर्स अंडर जॉन फेरांडो इधर उधर की बातें आती थी ये उसका नहीं बन रहे हैं सीधा ही आप देखिए जैसे ही यहाँ पे आया है एंटोनियो बस एक भी ऐसी न्यूज आपको सुनने को आई है कि भाई यहाँ पे जैसन क्यूमिंगसन इसकी नहीं पड़ती और इसकी ये नहीं बनती वो नहीं कुछ सब लाइन में आ गए सब कोई जितना गेम टाइम मिल रहा है खेल रहा है सब कुछ बढ़िया हो रहा है। So you need that kind of a coach.
Shaggy's put in a very interesting name, but we won't be able to pay him. I remember Hervé Renard had come to India, I think about a decade back. I think he was coach of Zambia. And Zambia just won the African Cup of Nations, right?
Yes, Zambia.
So I liked him a decade back, and that because that's the kind of coach, where the players have respect. Right? That coach has a standing. The players will listen to him, right? And you saw that halftime dressing room address in that Argentina game, which they turned around and won in the end, right? So I want that kind of a motivator. But he also has the tactical finesse and the understanding of what to do, not to do. And that's the thing. And no, Anurag, Apuya's dropping had nothing to do with discipline. It had to do with something else. But again, so therefore, Roshan, he wasn't too expensive to buy out of France. France just said, listen, the World Cup is, he's involved with our women's team. We are not releasing him, and the Olympics are coming up. We're not releasing him even for 3 weeks for Ivory Coast. So that was the reason, right? So let's see where we go with this. But for me, it has to be the right decision. But the question is, again, what we've also discussed is the technical committee in a position to decide which is the right coach for the Indian football team with the leadership of the F. Because the president says, listen, it's not my thing. You know what? It's a decision of the technical committee. So that's going to be difficult.
Yeah. Hiren, has Igor Stimac lost this dressing room?
Yes, I think जो मेरे को मतलब कुछ न्यूज़ पता है उससे तो एंड जो टीम की परफॉर्मेंस भी आ रही है उससे मेरे को मतलब मैं तो कन्विंस हूँ कि दैट इज द केस क्योंकि अदरवाइज चाहे ये हमारे प्लेयर कितने भी बुरे हो बट इतने भी बुरे नहीं है वो वाली चीज है कितने भी बुरे हो बट इतने भी बुरे नहीं है कि जो इसने अफगानिस्तान और एशियन कप में जिस तरह से लोग खेल रहे थे कि एक मतलब अगर ऐसे ही ये प्लेयर है तो फिर तो ये फुटबॉलर ही नहीं है। सिंपल सी बात वो है कि आप ऐसी चीजें भी नहीं कर पाते तो फिर तो ये फुटबॉलर ही नहीं है। तो वो आई थिंक वो कहीं ना कहीं मैच नहीं होता। तो इट्स फॉर मी आई एम कन्विंस्ड दैट देयर इज अ something behind the scene is not right and I don't know whose problem is. Maybe players at fault, maybe coach at fault, I don't know, but there is something is not right. And us scenario mein I think out of 100 times 99 times coach had been changed in past. So in at the club level and also at the country level. So I
True.
think there should be done.
And why you agree? Igor Stimac he's lost the dressing room. Is that it? For him?
Parts of it for sure. I think some of the players are confused what the coach wants to do. Certain players, you know, say privately, they've been training the same thing over the last 4 or 5 years. There's no development, and there's certain players he talks to, and certain players he doesn't. That's the reality. And I see a comment here that Uday has put fans want friendly, they can arrange. Fans want youth league, they arrange. AF run by fans, not by smart officials. Uday, I also tell you one thing: if you or others don't like it, it's not a question of if fans want to come in again and run the federation. That's not realistic. You need professionals who understand the game to run the federation. Fans have around the world a certain feeling, and they think they know things, uh, and they live by emotions. But also in a football federation, in a football club, you have to take decisions which are practical. And I give you a perfect example of this, that the discussions we've been having over the last 2 days here in Germany. The German FA is ditching Adidas for Nike as their kitting partner.
Hmm.
Every poll that has happened, nearly 90% of German fans say it's wrong. But the federation says, you know what? They offered us more than double the money, Nike than Adidas. We have built a new center which is costing us X more. The maintenance is X more. We want to do another X round of expansion. And the federation is losing 20 million euros a year because Germany has not progressed in the last few tournaments as well. That's another thing that they've lost quite a bit of money. So the federation, a German brand which has been with you since 1950, of course you would love to keep it, but you are running a federation where you have to take financial decisions, So to me, it's very, very clear, and Roshan rightly said, and every German politician has made like populist statements and say, oh, this is bad, and for Germany, this, that, no. But the point is that the federation has to take a decision in the best interest, because it's not just the national team, but the money that you generate through the kitting of the national team, that money trickles down to the club at the lowest level. In India, it doesn't happen because we are doing a zero deal with kitting, because the national team value is zero. Our club football value is zero. And that is something, and to me, it's a difficult one. Again, if COVID was a reason, would have gotten rid. It's a very interesting fact I always say is that this new AFF has changed a lot of things. As, even the baby leagues became suddenly the blue carbs. This has changed. That has changed. The only thing that they've actually left is Igor Stimac in his position. Even Thomas Deneby was removed, and they had to bring him back. The only thing they didn't do. So then ask yourself, the question is, why is that the case? That is the real question in this whole discussion.
Yeah. Hiren, of course, we've got another topic to discuss. IWL has come to a close. Odisha FC champions. They were one of the favorites sort of going in. Expected it?
Definitely, I think it's a good to see a new winner in the IWL. एंड ये पहली बार होम एंड अवे बेसिस पे हो रहा था. देयर आर क्वाइट नंबर ऑफ थिंग्स जो इस बार नहीं थी. एंड 7 क्लब के साथ आपने स्टार्ट किया था. compared to last season, it looked little bit more competitive in that terms. आपको ज्यादा हाई स्कोरिंग रिजल्ट नहीं देखने को मिले, नो डाउट. टुडे इट वाज अ डे कि जहाँ पे 6-0 और उस तरह की स्कोर लाइन देखने को मिली, बट अदरवाइज देयर आर मच मोर कॉम्पिटिटिव गेम्स. ओवरऑल वेरी गुड प्रोग्रेस आई वुड से कंपेयर टू लास्ट सीजन्स IWL. एंड दो कॉम्पिटिटिव टीम आप बोल सकते हो. ऐसा नहीं कि सिर्फ गोकुलम केरला इज रूलिंग द IWL और वुमेन्स फुटबॉल इन इंडिया इन टर्म्स ऑफ द क्लब लेवल. So now Odisha FC have very good team. So I want to see kickstart भी यहाँ पे. I think इस season progress दिखाई है उन्होंने compared to last season, and they are also in a right track. So जितनी ज़्यादा यहाँ पे इस तरह के competitive club बढ़ते जाएंगे, and you have a then pool of maybe you can say 10 that kind of a competitive clubs, then I think better players definitely will be seen. So I think it's overall a very good season in that terms. Lots of positive. Still lots of works to be done, without a doubt, 100%. But I think it's a good progressive start.
Playmaker India, of course, Musa saying the Odisha women did better than the Indian men's national team, which, of course, the Indian men's national team were so bad, and now we've got a champion side or another. for Odisha women. What sort of teams are you expecting to come back and compete in the coming season?
I think the one thing that we have to say is one has to congratulate the AFF that they took this decision to play the women's league home and away
Mm.
and extended it to a 4-month window. That is something which has to be said. But we also see that, as with the men's, how many teams are really competing? If you look at this league, you would say Odisha, Gokulam, Kickstart fell off towards the end, but that has to do sort of with Preeti Rai leaving the club. C2 wasn't as good as they have been, former champions. Hoops did well, but then you see East Bengal and Sports Odisha sort of making up the numbers. So that's the first reality of these things. But Odisha went into the season with a clear-cut plan. Crispin Chetri has been now around for a while. I know Crispin from his playing days, who used to play for the big teams around India, and he's built a very, very good team of experienced players, like Pyari, for example, as a very experienced player, scored a few goals today. Young players as well, and has had foreigners here and there. The over-dependence on foreigners wasn't as much as in the other teams, which I see as a danger for Indian women's football if we sort of do it as in the men's. Because what I've also seen is, again, the feeling-wise is half of the Nepali national team and now even the two attacking strikers for Bangladesh are in the league, right? So we're building them up. And already, those foreigners are taking Indian striker positions. So we need to find, the balance of, I think 3 foreigners to me is a little too many. So I would rather have 2 foreigners in the league, and hope that the next, that this home and away format grows slowly, but don't rush into growing this league. Take it slow. Take your time with the IWL. Ensure, rather have less teams, but ensure that the quality is there, that the standards are kept, that there is a good scheduling. All of these small little things, which they've done a lot of things they've done right this season. So therefore, for me, this with the women's team, I think, for me, I think this is something which is good. And again, it's good that Gokulam, who have sort of been dominating the scene over the last 3, 4, 5 years, before that Setu, that now you have a new competitor, and it shows you. And Odisha is a good example that if you take it seriously to run a women's team, you spend money on it, you can be successful. Therefore, I also say something which I think a lot of people won't like, but I still will say it. When clubs, ISL teams or I-League teams are not serious about their women's team, don't force them. Because it will not increase the standards. You see, Odisha is taking this seriously. Gokulam is taking this seriously. Kickstart is also a men's and women's team. They take it seriously. East Bengal is taking it seriously. Mohun Bagan don't have a team, right? East Bengal is, last season looked okay. This season, they've improved a little. They've brought in a lot of, tribal girls into the team, but they're not there yet. But this is better to have the Setus and the Hoops and, Sports Odisha and all the others who are in IWL too. That you build, we build it slowly and cleanly, and I think that's the challenge. It's rather, if a Kerala Blasters doesn't want to run a women's team, don't force them. You have Gokulam in the state. You had Lords FA last season also in that state. Let the teams which want to be, it's going to be very, very important. And Roshan makes a very important point, right? That Odisha deserved the title because they were consistent. They were consistent throughout, and Gokulam needed a little time to settle down, and that settling down phase was a little too long. So that's the drawback of a 12-match season. If you screw up 1 or 2 matches, it might be too late. But the thing is, this is a very good start. Odisha deserve it. be it again Crispin and his women, and or in the background, Randip Barua, who's been there. All those guys, good to see. And Odisha, I think, become after Gokulam, the second team to actually win top level titles after Gokulam Kerala. So that's a good sign as well.
This looks very professional at the moment. I think Odisha FC, congratulations to them. Like Anava said, I hope that this league becomes more competitive in the sense that you've got more than sort of two, three teams competing for the title, and let the league be small, but let's make it as competitive as we can. Um, well, yeah, guys, that was our Afghanistan India preview. We've also spoken about the IWL, which just came to a close today. Just 2 days left, less than 48 hours. I'm sure again a lot of us will be there to watch India Afghanistan. Although we've got our frustrations and our reservations with the team at the moment, but yeah, again, everybody like and share the videos. Subscribe to all the channels: Arun Foot, Sports Kabri, and Curious Harry. Very good night.
Good night,
Good
guys.
night.